be here. So thanks, Freddie. Thanks, Maria. Thanks, everyone from the user group. Thanks a lot for organizing things and having me here. It's a great pleasure. That's the second time I'm here in Chicago. I've been many times in the Chicago airport. And thanks, Chicago, for receiving me with snow. Right? I was not expecting that.
Neither do we.
Yes, very cold, right? And we are here to talk a little bit about career, right? So who wants to improve your career? Yeah, that's why you're all here, right? So thanks a lot for the full house. It's been great. So, I think that we are in one of the most amazing markets ever, right? Software development. It's great. It's a creative industry. It's very active. It's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of jobs, right? You saw, the sponsor here coming in and talking about offering jobs. So it's a great career to be, right? It's possible to have a career, right? A lot of things that people do, it's not possible to have a career. So we're going to discuss here how exactly you can really have a career. The one thing that I want to start by saying is we're not here to talk about changing jobs, right? That's one thing that everyone thinks. When you talk about career, everyone thinks, because I want to move to another job. That's not what we're talking about here, right? We're talking about here. It's your career, it's your life, right? It's the things that you want to do, and they might involve changing jobs, right? They might involve changing countries, right? But that's not the objective here, right? So we're going to talk about what you can do in terms of a career. So let me ask a few things here. Who here, is there anyone here, I don't see very young people here, but maybe there's some that I can recognize, right? Who here is starting, right? You're just out of the university or at university yet, like you have okay, let's say very young, you're just out of the university, like it's going to be your first job. Who is here in this situation?
Not from the university, boot camp.
Boot camp?
First job.
First job? Cool. You, one more, no, 3, 4 people, kind of, right? Okay, cool. That's cool, right? So you're just starting, right? So who here has, you're already professional, so you have more than a year, so those guys are the first job, so you have more than a year of experience, and you have between 1, 3, maybe 4 years of experience in the software market and software industry. Yeah, you can raise your hand, yes, okay. All right. Very good, lots of people. All right, so, and who here is, I know it's the rest, but just so we can see the hands, but who here is more than 4 or 5 years of experience? Most people, that's great. Right, so he laughed 4 or 5 years, come on, man. Okay, so let me ask the real question then, right? Who here has more than 10 years of experience? Cool. All right, okay. And those are the groups that we see a lot, right? And as you could see, if you look around, there's several people that are starting, right? There's not a lot of people in the middle, and there's a lot of people in the end. And we see this a lot, that people start fresh and you're excited and they don't know exactly what you do. So anyone that talks about career, you want to see, right? Oh, this guy's going to show me the secrets of the career. I want to be there, right? And then for a long time, you are happy with what you're doing, and you keep working, and everything seems fine, and you're growing, and you're making money, and your life is going good, and then you have you're buying new houses, and you buy new cars, and you're traveling, and everything's fine, and then at some point, you feel stuck. Right? You stop growing. You don't know what to do anymore, right? And that's why we usually have a lot of people several years of career. We have people 30 years in career. They feel stuck for a long time, right? So the objective that we're going to have here today, and we're going to do this very interactive, right? I don't have any slides, so I have no script to follow, right? And what we want to do is that we want to talk about what's bothering you. Right? What's exactly is going on? But in particular here, we're going to talk about 3 steps, right, for a great career. That's the title of this presentation. So let me get these 3 steps. I'm going to be here in Chicago twice. So I'm doing a tour around the U.S. I already did San Diego, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and I'm here in Chicago. Tomorrow I'm going to go to Milwaukee and then come back to Chicago, right? And then I do Jacksonville and Houston and Dallas, and then I go back to Brazil to an event, and then I go home. So it's like, so I'm going to discuss things with you here. I'm going to discuss like very specific things for you today. And on Wednesday, I'm going to be back here, somewhere around here. I'm not sure exactly how far it is. And so if you have any more questions and more doubts, we can talk again in a couple of days, right? So you have a day to think about, and then come back with even more harder questions. How about that? Is it good? All right. So 3 steps that we're going to do, that we're going to talk about today. We're going to be very specific on a few things here. Career, it's all about focus. It's all about focus, right? Let me show you one thing about what is a career. I'm not sure if you saw this before, but there's 3. Actually, there's 4, but the four gets too confusing and it's unnecessary. Let's think. There's 3 things you can, 3 things. If you look around your life, you can put everything in 3 different things, right? You can put on the things that you like, right? The things that you love to do. I'm sure there's lots of things you love to do. Maybe you like to play music. You like software development. You might like to play with your kids. You might like to travel. Lots of things that you like. But there is a lot of things in the world that people are willing to pay lots of money for, right? And they might not be willing to pay lots of money for you to play with your kids, right? But they might be willing to pay lots of money for you to play with their kids, right? So there's a lot of things and there's a lot of things that pay a lot of money, and there are good things and bad things that pay a lot of money, and there are a lot of things that you're good at. You might be a great soccer player, for example, right? You might be a great software developer. You might be a great surfer, right? Lots of things that you're good at. So the intersections here are important, right? Things that you're very good at and that the market pays lots of money, that's a job, right? You don't like it very much, but you do it because they pay well, right? I have a friend that studied with me at university. I was studying computer science and he was studying civil engineering, and because he was good at math, and the banks went to the engineering schools to recruit people to do financing and investing, right? So I've met him many years later, and he had lots of money. He had a big apartment and big cars and everything, and he hated what he did. But he was doing it for too long. He was never an engineer, right? Because he went early in his school. He decided to go in financing, and he hated what he did, but that's what he had to do. So he had a job, right? Things that you're very good at and you like to do, but people are not willing to pay a lot of money for, that's a hobby, right?
That's true.
Okay? There's lots of things you can do. You may like to play with your kids. You may like to build, Lego robots. You may like to go surf at the lakes, probably, right? Not, but you may like to go all those things. Maybe people are not willing to pay lots of money for. You do it as a hobby. That's great. It's great to have hobbies. It's an amazing thing to have hobbies, and we should all have lots. But and let me tell you this thing. A lot of times you can turn a hobby into a job or a career if you want, right? Maybe some of you started programming as a hobby. As a kid, you're playing around, you're playing with games and everything, and eventually you turn this. There's a lot A lot of people that turn the love for playing games into a job, right? So that could turn into a job or a career at some point. Things that you like and the market pays a lot of money for, but you're not very good at, those are dreams. Right? Okay? You know, you can dream, oh, one day I'm gonna make lots of money doing this. That's great, right? And if you're dreaming, you can turn your dreams into reality. You can go after the knowledge that you need to turn this into something. And you know, so don't discard those things, right? A lot of people learn to love their job, right? A lot of people learn to turn their dreams into something that they can make a reality. A lot of people turn their hobbies into things. In the sweet spot here in the middle, right? Things that you like, you're good at, and the market paid lots of money for, that's your career. Okay? And let me be very clear. Not everyone has a career. And it's okay. It's okay. Right? Lots of people are very happy in having a job that pay lots of money and they have all the free time they want to do other things. Right? So you don't have to love what you do. You don't have to love software development. You don't have to be like, that's one thing that I hear a lot from people. Oh, do I have to be like the software developer that comes, that never goes home, right? That goes home and still do development again, and you spend the whole time in front of the computer. Do I have to be that person? No, you don't. Right? You can treat that as a job and still make lots of money and still be very successful. That's not a problem. But you have to understand what is a career and what is a job, because if you're after a career, go after a career. Because it's a huge opportunity. There's lots of things that you can do. There's lots of things that you can create. There's lots, you can grow a lot more if you really know what you want and go after it. Right? The idea is not to get the job that you hate, that pay lots of money, and turn that job into a career and force yourself to like it. You could do that. Lots of people do that. They have something, they learn to like what they have, and they turn this into a career. That's good. That could be. But there are other opportunities here. Maybe you have a hobby, right? Maybe you do software development. You work on a 9-to-5 job, doing whatever development you do. But then you do it as a hobby. You do game development at night. You can turn that into a career. You can learn how to make money out of that and turn that into a career, right? Maybe you have things that you'd love to do, right? You keep dreaming. Oh, one day I'm going to travel around the world, right? When I have lots of money, I'm going to travel around the world. When I have lots of money, I'm going to create toys for kids. You have those dreams that you think are impossible to do, and you keep expecting something that's going to happen to you, but you can get your dreams, and you can learn how to make money out of your dreams and turn this into a career. And the reason why you can do this, absolutely everyone here, is because you're software developers. Absolutely everything that happens everywhere has software in it. Right? Is your dream working with games? There's software in games. Is your dream working on, going to the space? There's software in space. Is your dream going to travel around the world? There's software everywhere. So you can turn what you know today into something that would make all your dreams a reality. But for that, you have to be very clear on what is the dreams that you have. Right? You have to be clear to yourself. It's amazing how many people, they have those dreams and they don't even tell themselves. Right? They keep hiding. So you talk to them and say, oh, my big dream is I want to be a better developer. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then you keep talking to them and they, oh, but you know what? I really love games. I wish I knew enough. Or something. So be clear with yourself. right? Get a piece of paper, write your dream. Right? See if your dream, and then when you talk about dreams, I'm very fun. I mean, I love dreams, right? I think that we should go after them. But sometimes we have to distinguish between what's a dream, what is a childhood dream. A lot of us, I had a friend, for example, that, he told me that his biggest dream was to work for Disney. I want to work on Disney. I want to work for Disney. And I said, okay, cool. That's totally doable. You want to start working for Disney tomorrow? You can. Like, can I? Yes. So I sat with him, and we went to, took a look at what's the series of open source projects that Disney has. And there's a lot of very, very cool open source projects. So do you want to work with Disney people? You can start tomorrow, and that can really lead to a job at Disney if that's what you want. So as soon as he saw that there was a path for it, and they could go after it, that's when he realized that, honestly, that's a childhood dream. It's not about working for Disney, right? It's about other things. And so a lot of times we don't do what we want to do because we cling to those childhood dreams that we think are impossible, and we use these as excuses for us to not do what we want, right? So then when you see that there is a path, so that whole story that you telling yourself that I don't do things because I wish I could work for Disney, that whole story crumbles because now I can work for Disney. I don't want to do that, right? And so now I can start thinking about what I really want. And that's what we need to think. What is that you want? What is that you really want? Because you can get it. Seriously. Right? You can go after those things and you can get those things. Right? So that's thinking about a career, you don't, again, not everyone has a career. Right? And that is fine. Not everyone is willing or wants to turn their whole life around something. But if you have a career, that's what you're doing, right? You're combining the things that you love to do with the things that makes money, with the things that you're good at. I mean, what else are you going to do, right? If you combine all those three things, that's what you're going to do all the time, right? And you see some people, for example, software development, you see people, right? There was a cartoon that I love. You have a developer sitting in front of a computer, and then it says, developer working, and developer having fun, developer resting, right? Developer on the weekend, yes, paying your bills. I mean, that's all you do, right? I always remember my daughter. I was actually talking to my daughter right now. She's now 20 years old. She was named for many years a Java baby, and because we had some picture of her on the internet as a little baby. Everyone thought she was a baby. She's 20 years old. Everyone still thinks she's a baby. But anyway, Java baby, when she was 8 years old, at school they asked, what you're supposed to come in front and say what your parents do, right? And so she went in front of the class and said, well, my father stays at home all day long playing with the computer. So, yes, it is true, right? That's what I do. Exactly. So that's right. That is right. I work from home since 1996. I work 100% of the time at home. So I know that's what they saw, right? Me growing in front of the computer all the time, right? Playing with the computer. Yes. All right. So this is the thing that's you can do this. This is a little exercise that you can do. Do those three circles. Kind of puts things around, right? Put your name, puts things that you have, that you do, right? Think about what it is that you do. Because the one thing, 3 steps, right? First step I'm going to talk about is focus. You're not going to have a career if you don't have focus. Right? So that's one thing. For people that are starting, that's a great way for you to get started. Find a focus. Any focus. For the people that you've been working for a long time, you probably already have a focus you never thought about. Find your focus, right? Find the thing that really matters for you. Too many developers, they try everything. They can't keep looking everywhere. Right? Focus is probably the most important thing that you can do in terms of your career, or even your job. It's probably the most important thing. I'll show you why it's so important.
What do you mean focus on technology?
I'll show you. I'll show you. Right? I'm more than talking about show you. So let's do a little experiment here. An experiment that I learned from a friend of mine. I don't know who he learned that with. But I want you to look around. And I want you to look and find things that are red. Look around. Find things that are red. Yes. Now count in your head things that are red. Look around. Yeah, look around. Look around. Look at your back of you. You know, there's a red hat the guy's had. There's a red hat, red Coca-Cola. There's a guy that's full red right there, right? He's had a red backpack for red sweater. There's lots of books over there. So count in your head the red things. Got it? Okay, so now, sir, I'll get you but you, everyone can answer. How many green things did you see?
I wasn't paying attention.
Right?
That's
How many green things did you see? Okay, so now, look around and see how many green things you saw. Right? And you can see the guy with the red hat has a green shirt. Right? You see that the books over there. There's actually green right by the reds. Right? Green was everywhere. Everywhere you look, there was a green thing, and you did not see. And many of you already saw that video on YouTube where you watch a whole video of people playing basketball, and by the end of the video they ask, "Did you see the gorilla?" Right? You've seen that video, right? And so it's like, and you say, "What gorilla?" Right? And then you go back, and there is not a tiny little gorilla. There's a big gorilla that jumps in front of the video, and you don't see it. Right? How come? The reason why you don't see it, and the reason why you didn't see what was green when you're looking for red, is because our brains filter what we see, what we hear, what we feel all the time. We don't have bandwidth enough to have all the sensations and feel all the sensations at the same time. For example, you are all sitting on a chair right now and you don't feel your butt touching the chair. Now you do because I mentioned it. Right? If your brain had all the sensations all the time, you would be overwhelmed. You would not do anything. So your brain filters things out. He filters what you focus on. Anything you focus on, that's what your brain sees. Is it a little bit clear why focus is so important in your career? Because if you don't focus on something, your brain doesn't see it. So it's right in front of you. It's right to the side of something, and you don't see it, right? You're so focused on complaining about the job that you have that you don't see the opportunities right inside of it. You're so focused on being bored on the meeting that you don't see the amazing opportunities going on right there in front of you. Right? You're so focused on trying to find a new job that you miss the new project in your company that you could be the leader and you didn't see it. That's what happens all the time because our brains filter out information. Now the other way around. When I said look for red things, it's immediate. Right? You're sitting down here, you're not seeing anything that's red, and then I say look for red things, and you immediately see it. When you say to your brain, you say to yourself, I want to focus on this, your brain sees it everywhere. I want to make an experiment that I did. I start looking for paper clips in the ground. Just walking the street looking for paper clips. It's unbelievable how many paper clips I could get. It's unbelievable. I never saw them. But you focus on it and you start seeing paper clips everywhere. Right? Seriously. Do that once. One day. Walk home one day and say, I'm going to look for paper clips. And you're going to be amazed at how many you find. Right? And the reason why I did that is, well, it's a long story, but I was called by a manager. I was called. I was a paperclip. That really hurt, right? I was glad that was the first and last meeting I was going to have with that guy, because I was moving from his team. You know, he was just arriving on team, and I was moving to another team. So we had one meeting together, and he joined the team. Said this first meeting with the team, and he said, "You know what, guys? I'm very bad at managing people. I call that managing paperclips. So I'm going to put someone else to manage you." Right? Yes, you know, and I got so upset with that I kept thinking about paperclips for a long time. And I still have a large paperclip about this big. That's one of the Sun executives when, you know, Sun was acquired by Oracle and, you know, the whole thing crumbled. She gave me like a big paperclip to put on the table as a gift, because that story was so strong for everyone inside Sun. All right, so focus, it's amazing. So now her question is very valid. What do I mean by focus? That's what I mean by focus. Find something that you are interested in. Find something that you like. Find something that you like, that you want to be very good at, or that you're already good at, something that you see value, and focus on that, right? What does it exactly mean? Well, it could be, I want to be the best Java EE developer in the world. I want to be the best Java developer in the world. I want to be the best, you know, microservice guy in the planet. You know, doesn't matter. You choose your focus. Focus is amazingly important. What we see a lot, and you see this all the time. People saying, how can I follow so many things that is going on in the market right now? How can I? You know, how there's so many things going on, I can't learn everything. That's because you don't have a focus. You don't need to learn everything. Right? You need to find out what is the thing that you want and go after that. When you talk about the second step, you're going to find out how you can actually learn a lot more than you think. Right? But that's the thing you need, right? You need to find your focus, whatever it is, right? And then people say, but I'm not. That's when you talk about focus. That the thing that I get most is, but I'm a generalist, right? Who here consider yourself a generalist? Okay, there's a few people who say I can't have a focus because I'm a generalist. Well, if you're the best generalist in the planet, that makes you a lot of money. Right? You know, if you're very good at learning new things and applying that thing, right? If you're very good in learning a new thing and teaching that thing to others, if you're very good at learning a new thing to solve problems, that's an amazing skill. Go focus on that, right? That's how I started. I built my first company. That's the company I actually pay my salary to this day, Suma Technologies. I built that company because we were specialized in impossible projects. You know, we would have I used to joke that we were the JNIB, the Java Man in Black, right? Because we would come in a project was over budget, was late. The team didn't know what it was doing. It had no performance. There was all kind of problems. It was a big mess. And we'd get like 2 or 3 people and come in the project and fix everything, get everything running, get everything back on time. Get back on the budget, get everything done. Work long hours, weekends, and very stressful situations. Everything. When everything was perfect, great project to work at. We'd leave and go on another crazy project, right? And so we had no idea what was coming in front of us. It's always crazy things. You can be very good at that, right? Because I like to say there's 5 things that you need to do to be a great developer. 5 things. Yes, you're taking notes. That's good, right? 5 things you need to do to be a great developer, right? You have to read code. Oh, so obvious, right? So many people don't read code. It's amazing. People just read the code they wrote. Or they just read code they understand. You gotta be very good at reading code. So go read code you don't understand. We're gonna talk a little bit more about this in step 3. Second thing, you gotta write code. You gotta be very good at writing code. Right? That means you have to be good at writing your Java code or whatever language you wanna do. You have to be good at that. That means you can't be thinking, wow, how should I do this loop here? No, you have to know how to do those things. Those things have to be automatic, right? Third thing you gotta do is you have to deliver code, right? Your job as a developer is to automate someone's problem. So if you're not solving someone's problems, your job is not finished yet. So you gotta be good at that. You gotta know how to do it. You gotta know the problems. You gotta know how your company does. You gotta know how to improve what your company do, right? Now, the one I wanted to get to, because it's, for the generalist, is that you have to solve problems. You have to be very good at solving problems. And if you are good at solving problems, that by itself, it's an amazing skill. Right? So you got to be very good at solving problems. So look problems around you and solve them. Oh, it's snowing in April in Chicago. What kind of problems that cause? Think about that. There are problems that this cause. How could you solve that? Oh, come on, Bruno, but we can't solve the problem to see it. I know. But if you have the mindset of you thinking about how solving problems, that's going to be very good for you. Because that you're going to use this in your work all the time. Because if you're, the same thing, right? If you're trying to look for paper clips in the ground, you're going to find paper clips. If you look around yourself and you're trying to find problems to solve, when you get to your work, you're going to find problems to solve. Right? And that's a great thing to do. Someone that's able to come into a project that's crazy, messy, everything's wrong, nothing is fixed, and you can think, okay, so from all of these hundreds of problems that this project have, we're going to solve this one here right now. That's a unique skill. So you can be a generalist, very good generalist if you want, right? And the 5th thing, just for completeness, you have to share what you know. And we're going to talk a little bit more about sharing in a minute. Okay, so focus is amazingly important. So find your focus. Find your focus. This is very, very important. So I'm going to do a little exercise here that I want everyone to do. So if you're just looking at me and you don't have a pen and paper in your hands, get pen and paper. If you don't have pen and paper, you get your cell phone. It works, right? And make sure that you do this exercise. Some of you might have done that before, because I've done this the last time I was here. And if you did that before, you can recover what you did last year and improve on it, right? Because it's good. You can always improve on it, right? Okay, everyone got it, that? So, okay, let me erase this. All right. So, I call this the celebrity statements. That simple phrase can turn your job, can turn what you know into a career if you want. It's a very simple phrase. You got it? So, and I'll show you the phrase, and we're gonna do a little exercise to fill it out. Okay? So the phrase is, I help people do this so they can have that. Some of you may remember that from last year. I help people do this so they can have that. You got it in the back? Very simple. I help people do this so they can have that. Wrote that down? I'll give you an example, and you're going to see immediately how that can help. right? I, Bruno, I help professional developers like you to share what they know through presentations and blogs and other things so they can work on the best projects, the best teams. Make sense? You go to my Twitter account, that's what you see. Who here wants to work on the best projects, the best teams? Right? Yes. So if you want to work on the best projects, the best teams, who are you going to talk to? Right? That's why you're all here. Right? That's why we have a full house today, because you guys are interested in this. If you're not interested in this, you would not have come. Right? Because you're not, you go do something else. And there's a lot of people that didn't come. That's okay. I'm not interested in talking to people that don't want to work with the best part of the best teams. Because I can't help other people. Right? So, but if you're working on the best part of the best teams, I can help you. I can really help you. Right? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to help you. Okay. So, why this phrase is magic? First of all, it puts you, it's, let me tell you one thing that is going to hurt. Where's the guy that's the sponsor? Can I peek with the sponsor here? What's your name, sorry?
Yes.
What's your name?
Kyle.
Kyle, can I hit you in the balls?
Yeah, go for
Can
it.
I? Okay, go for it. Right? Let me tell you one thing. So Kyle came here, was invited here, and he came here, and what did he say? My name is Kyle, I worked with this company for a few months, right? I'm not sure if you remember all that he said, but
Yes.
but I was paying attention. I worked in this company for a few months, and we have lots of jobs here available, blah, 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 right? We're, Kyle, sorry man, but no one cares about you.
Yeah, I know that.
And that is true for all of you. No one cares about you, no one cares about you, no one cares about me. People
Unless
don't.
you can provide.
Hmm?
Unless you can provide something.
Yes, but people don't care about us unless you can provide something. People care about how you can help them. So Kyle, if you come here and you say, who wants to work on a great project? What's going to happen? Who wants to work on a great project? Who wants to work on a great project? Everyone's going to raise their hand. So you can say, so I have a great project for you. Come talk to me because I have a great project for you. Now it's not about you, it's about them. Right? And I'm picking on him because you guys saw that. So Kai can work on his phrase here, and then you're going to present your phrase here later, Kai. Can you, Kai?
Sure.
Okay. All right. That is the mistake that you go to an event and you see this all the time. You go on Facebook, you go on Twitter, you go on a website, you see this all the time. We technical people, we love to talk about ourselves. And the thing is, no one cares. No one cares. Right? Oh, you go on Twitter. Oh, I'm a father. I used to do this. Right? I'm a father. I'm a photographer. I'm a puppeteer. Those are things that were in my description. Right?
You're a puppeteer?
I am.
Wow.
And I have a puppet here for you.
Really?
Seriously. I'll bring him in a minute when we talk about comedians and second stuff. Right? People don't care. Right? You come to the events, think about it. You all watch a presentation many, many times here in this same room here, right? The speaker comes here and he puts a slide saying, oh, I did this, I did that, I did blah, 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 blah. And what are you doing? You're looking on the phone, you're looking at the ceiling, you're not paying attention to what he's saying. And then eventually, the speaker starts talking about interesting things and you start paying attention because that's what you came here for. You didn't come here for him to hear him talk about himself. You came here to him to talk about what you're interested in. So you eventually start paying attention and you don't even know his name. Right? Because his name was in the first slide. You're not paying attention to that. How many times that happened to you, right? Okay? So that's why when I get to this point, I say, my name is Bruno Souza, and I'm BR Java Man on Twitter. So if you want to follow me, you can go there, right? Because now you're paying attention to me. Okay, good. Right? So, that is the thing. Everyone, you're going to be important for people when they know that you can help them. That's why this phrase here, I help, right? You immediately put yourself as someone important. Now pay attention to this. You help people. We're going to get to people in a minute, but you help people do that. That's it's what people want. I help professional developers to work on the best product, the best teams. So now you're talking about them. You're not talking about you. No one cares about you anyway. So you're not talking about you. Right? So you go on a website, and the website says, oh, my product is great. It's wonderful. It does this, it does that, has this feature, has this other. Who cares? Right? You go anywhere, people just talk about themselves, and we don't care. So many people just don't go to those places at all because there's nothing for them. You can completely change your whole marketing story of your company, your startup, everything. If you change your idea and you start to focus on them, not on you.
It's like a user story.
Hmm?
It's like a user story.
It's almost a user story, yes. Right? So, now, on this phrase, the thing that's about you is this. Right? I help professional developers work on the best product, the best teams. How do I do this? I help you share what you know. Because I know that if you learn to share what you know, your career will going to explode. Because sharing is the fifth step of being a great developer. Right? And so since I know that a lot of developers don't understand how important sharing is, if they learn how to share, they will grow. Period. So I help you work on great projects like this. Kyle over there, he helps you work on great projects by hiring you and putting you to work on great projects. That's a different thing. But we're both helping you achieve the same thing that you want, but I'm doing one thing, he's doing another thing. Right? Maybe other people are going to help you work on the best projects, best teams by learning how to participate on open source. Right? So your this, it's your this. Okay?
I was just going to say, Celia is always looking for presenters.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, that's the next step. I should step one here, but we're gonna get to that. Okay, so now let's do a little exercise here. Okay, so now you got the phrase, right? So I want you to say, okay, okay. So just put in your paper, right? People equals, put that, people equals. Now I want you to write down who are the people that you want to be working with. Who you want to be your friends. Who you want, to be people that are hiring you. Who do you want to, people that buy your product. Who do you want to work with? Who are the people that you'd love to be around? Right? I love to be around you guys, developers. I love, right? The discussions, the topics, the interests, the careers are all amazing. I love this. That's why I'm doing this. I'm traveling around the U.S. and in several places I'm staying in friends' houses, right? I love to do. We had an amazing, intense weekend in San Jose where we had so many discussions, right? I went to sleep. It was 2 o'clock in the morning to wake up at 4 to come here. Right? Like very intense, very good. So I love this. So people that come to my house are developers, right? So so what I want to do is I want to have more developers near me, right? So write down people. Who are the people that you want to be near you, that you love to work with, that you want to be, your friends, your customers. You want to work on their projects. Who are those people? Right? And don't limit yourself to developers, right? So that may be not exactly what you want, right? Maybe you want to be a manager. Maybe you want to be near CEOs, right? You want to eventually launch your company, right? Maybe you want to be launch a startup and you want to be a CIO eventually. So that's what you want. So that's another thing, right? People could be who you want to be, right? And try to be specific, as specific as you can. Got that? Okay? So now that you have people right there, what do they want? Say that equals. Put that equals. And now you're going to think about what those people want. What are they afraid of? What is the biggest problem they have? What's that they want to solve? What is the thing that most important for their lives? What is it they really want? It's not about you, it's about them. What is it they want? I know the developers want to work on great projects, but I also know the developers want to work, to get paid well. I want a lot of developers, and you can go deeper than I'm doing here, right? Why do people want to work on great projects? They might want to work on a great project because they want to buy a house, because they want to have more time for their families, because they want to travel, right? A CIO of a company, what does he want? A CEO of a company, what does he want? More customers, more clients, right? Maybe he wants investors, right? So, what is that they want? That equals what's that they want. Could be the thing that they want, could be the biggest problem they have, right? When they lay down nights, what they're thinking of. Maybe they're afraid that they can't pay their house. Maybe they're afraid that they can't get their that they're not going to be able to sustain their family. Maybe they're afraid that next day they're going to have a project that they're not going to be able to solve the problem. So you can go either way. You can go what they really want, or you can go the biggest problem they have, right? Because the biggest problem, you revert the biggest problem, that's what they want, right? Okay? Got it? Okay, so now you say this equals, and you think, what is that you do that you love to do that could help that person get what they want? What is that you do? Do you do self-development? Do you do Java? Do you do, are you very good at algorithms? Are you very good at solving problems? Are you very good at, and let me tell you about being good at something. Look back at your life. Look at the things that you always did. A lot of times, the thing that you're very good at is not obvious. You know why? So, an analogy I like to say is, what does a fish does that's amazing? Swim. You swim too, right? No?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. So that's not swim. What?
Breathe underwater.
Breathe underwater,
But
right?
it gets off the hook.
It gets off the hook. That's a good one too, right? Okay. But I'm sure you get off the hook too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you married?
No, I'm not.
No, no, you're not. Okay, so well, if you were, I knew that you got off the hook from time to time, right? So, fish breathes underwater, right? But if you ask the fish, oh man, it's amazing that you breathe underwater, what do you think the fish is going to say?
Do this all the time.
I do this all the time. It's nothing special, right? It's my life. You are the fish, man. You're the fish. You have something special that you do all the time. Everyone around you notice. All your friends notice. Your family notice. Your kids notice. Your boss notice. Everyone around you thinks, man, that thing that you do is great. Mary, it's great that you help us out in the user group, right? It's great that you do this. Oh man, you solve those problems you make it look so easy. And for you, it's like, oh, that's what I do. So when you see that, write that down. That is the thing that you're amazing. That's the thing that you're unique. Write that down. Right? Because that thing that you do could help a lot of people get what they want. Make sense? So now you have all the variables. Make your phrase. Yeah, make your phrase. Don't.
I did that first.
Hmm?
I did the phrase and then did the equals.
Okay, so take a look. Take a look if you can improve that.
Okay.
Right? Make your phrase. Now you might need to adjust some words and make it make sense. You might have to revert some things, but just make a phrase. Does anyone have one ready that they want to test out? You look like you do.
I cringe though.
Hmm?
I feel like at work, I mean, I always like bailing people out. That's like what I call it.
Cool.
Like,
Right, so
all
don't explain.
Okay.
You say your name.
Hi, Aaron. I help software developers be successful with their projects so they can have success. I know
Okay.
that sounds kind of vague, but
Okay, well, that is vague.
yeah.
Vagueness is not good.
So,
Confused people don't take action. If you say, I help developers to be successful so they are successful, people are like, what? And they don't take action. They're not interested in you because that's not clear. Right? So be more specific. I help developers to solve their their terrible bug every week so they can, that's very easy, What is success to you?
I just like, at work there's all these projects that go off the rails. I really have to jump in and, turn it around. I do this all the time.
Okay.
And I don't know it's always good.
So what is success in this case?
Well, if the project gets rolled out.
The project is delivered, right?
Right, yeah.
Excellent. So I help developers to deliver the projects,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So what do you do to have them deliver their project?
Can I set them straight or just like help them out and.
What does that mean, right? Do you
Some of
do
it's
you come in
personal.
and do you teach something that they don't know?
Oh, yeah, some
Do
of
you
it's
you
teaching.
organize the house? What is that you do?
Well, some of it is teaching, some of it is like they don't have the skills. Sometimes it's like personal skills because they don't know, they can't deal with these other people, so I have to explain how to
So,
deal with that person. and-
Skill is a great word, right? If you teach someone a skill, that's amazing. It's not knowledge. Skill is much better than knowledge. So you say, I help developers, to learn the appropriate technical and personal skills so they can deliver their project on time. Is that what you do?
Or, yeah.
Okay, so you can improve that. I'm just reflecting back what you said.
Yeah, yeah.
But that phrase, for example, is a lot more specific than what he said before. So I help professional developers to learn the appropriate skills, personal and technical skills, maybe soft and hard skills, right? So they can deliver their project on time. Who wants here to deliver a project on time? Okay, so almost 100% of the audience is interested in you, man. Seriously. If he had a blog post, 3 mistakes that developers do that prevent them from delivering project on time, who wants to read that? Right? 3 skills that you can master today to deliver a project on time. Who wants to read that? Right? So and then the cool thing about this is that you instantly become unique. Become unique. Right? Now, you're not just a Java developer anymore. You are Java developer. Java developer can be part of what you are, but you are someone that helps other people deliver their project on time. And now you can look around you and see what are my opportunities to help people deliver projects on time. Can I learn a new tool? Can I learn Jenkins? It's about skills, right? So what kind of skills are important, right? What among all the skills that exist in the world, what are the skills that are important for people to deliver project on time? So now you can start focus everything you do, and immediately your brain starts to think in a different way. Because now you look around and you see, well, I watched this presentation from Bruno. What did he say during his presentation that would be important for people that want to deliver project on time? Well, he talked about focus. He talked about the skills that developers must have. So instead of tomorrow, he's writing a blog post saying, "Oh, I watched a presentation yesterday that Bruno came here to talk about, and I did this, I did that, and me on the blog." He can say, "So 3 things I learned about delivering a project on time that I learned to watch a presentation from Bruno yesterday on CJAG." And now he has a focus, and his audience understands what he's talking about, and everyone wants to come in here and see what he has to say. And when he follows people on Twitter, when he retweets things, he follows people on Twitter, and most of the time he doesn't retweet anything because people are talking about diverse things. But then as soon as someone tweets about delivering project, he retweets that. And when you come to his tweets, you're going to see a long list of tweets about delivering project. And you're like, man, this is a guy that knows how to deliver project. oh, that's a guy who I want his help because I need to deliver a project on time. And then your boss is going to look at it and say, man, you know, we have a problem here in this company and we're not delivering our project on time. And you're going to say, you know what? I've been following this guy that he's a specialist in delivering project on time. Right? So if you watch, I'm recording a video a day. And I actually have to record it once a day. It's like it's been always late at night. But I'm recording a video a day on this trip. And my first video that I recorded on this trip was 3 things I've learned about watching Star Wars. Because I did on the plane, there was a Star Wars channel on the plane, so I did a mini marathon of Star Wars coming here, right? You know, so I watched different movies and some parts that I wanted to re-see. You know, it's a bad marathon, right? You know, tiny little screen, no popcorn, no friends, right? But it was fun anyway. So you know, I couldn't the next day I could have recorded a video saying, oh, you know, it was so fun, right? Here on the plane watching Star Wars on a tiny little screen. Yes, you know, pay attention to me, how important I am because you weren't interested in me watching Star Wars on the plane. No one cares, right? But next day I talked about 3 things I learned on how to improve your career watching Star Wars. Right? And then I talk about the Force Awakens movie, because it was a great one. And then I talk about the same 3 things on a bad movie. There was The Revenge of the Sith, where those 3 things are missing. Right? So I had 2 videos recorded on Star Wars. And because I was recording a video about Star Wars, and my friend that it's a Star Trek fan, I had to record a few with him about 3 things that he learned on Star Trek that improved his career. Right? So think about it. You know, because I watched this movie, I had all this content that all related to career. All that's going to help you. If you go watch the movie, there's lots of great tips in there. You see how having a focus changes your perspective on everything? So who else has a phrase? Kyle?
Yeah.
You have yours?
Yeah.
So come here. Yeah!
I did that one more. All right. At 8th Flight, we help developers, designers, and leaders to work on great projects, the chance to work across languages, industries, and technologies with the best peers in the industry.
Who wants to work for that company? Sounds good, right? Yeah. Congratulations. Thank you. Right? So, you know, you talk about what people want to hear, right? That's how you attract people to you. And you say, why do I want to attract people to me? Well, there's a reason why you want to do this. And the reason is if you want to be successful as a developer, anything else in your life, you want to go into a positive feedback loop. Right? You want to be in a situation where you're called in to work on great projects. And because you're working on great projects, you become a great developer. And because you are a great developer, you're called in to work on great projects. And because you work on great projects, you become a great developer. And you go on a positive feedback loop that will move your career to the stratosphere. Really. Because that's what makes the difference between a great developer and a mediocre developer. Is the guy that's constantly working on great projects, and then you grow. So for you to be constantly working on great developers, people need to know what kind of project you want to work on. They need to know what you're good at. Because if they don't know what you're good at, they don't know what you can do, they don't know what are the things that you are interested in, you're always going to be getting projects that's not what you want. So that's why you need to, not only you have to have a focus for you, but people need to know your focus. So that's why this I call the select state. Because it really turns you into a celebrity. Make sense? Anyone else wants to go and have his phrase? You got here right on time, man. You copy this before I raise because that's the most important part of the day. Seriously, so copy it, right? Before you miss it. And then you can watch on the video. All right, so who wants to go? It's a good opportunity because okay, you're
Okay, I'm Matt Sickard. Let me find you. Let's see, I help engineers to write and deliver quality software so they can continuously deliver useful products and services.
Cool. That's very good. Very good. Now create content around this. Right?
I have a blog. It's
Hmm?
a little bit ahead of you on, well, not ahead of you on your blog, I bet, but ahead of been doing that the past, like, a couple of years, actually.
Cool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And your blog is all about this.
Basically, it's about, I've done some things about various different types of development things, some newer types of things, are just kind of like more developer-focused tips. People have talked with me know I work with Log4j, for instance. I like to work on a lot of lower-level developer tooling, so I'm always more focused on what's useful for developers rather than what's useful for the people that developers are developing for.
Right.
It's like, well, I care more about the developers than the end users, so, because those are my preferred end users, are people that I can relate to the most.
Cool. So you see, a lot of people want to do blogs. I haven't seen your blog, so I'm just going to make a general criticism here, right? That it may not apply to you. But, a lot of people want to create like blogs or things or, or tweet accounts or something that is tips for, right? And the problem with the tips for is that it gets, today you have a tip that's interesting for me, then tomorrow I have another thing that's not so interesting. And so you kind of just become a place where people go when they need something, and or maybe they Google you and they find your tip because it was like, by chance that one tip actually shows up on Google, because most time it doesn't, right? So, instead of you having like a generic tips blog, get this phrase you just said and focus on it. And the interesting thing is, because you have a focus, it doesn't mean that you cannot talk about anything you want, right? I'm talking about Star Wars with my focus, right? You can talk about anything you want as long as you bring it to your focus, and that will help people get what they want. Make sense?
I have two questions. First, how the blog helped to advance his career.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one, how he makes people come to his blog.
Well, first, I think it did because it helped kind of expose me to the sort of subfield of like technical evangelism or developer advocacy. So it kind of expanded my kind of ideas of like what kind of things I could work in. And as for delivering traffic for me, I just kind of let it come to me in a sense. I've been just tweeting things. Trying to, depending on the topic, I did one post that involved with Akka, for instance, and then I talked with one of the developers of Akka, and he tweeted it, and then all of a sudden that had a ton of people seeing it, for instance. So there's that, or some of the posts I did was at an old company I worked for, and on their site, they worked a lot better at SEO than I did, my own personal blog. So those would actually, whatever they were doing would also help deliver some traffic that worked pretty well, and then that would, because of links on the company blog being linked back to mine, would also drive more traffic that way.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing, you don't need to worry about traffic to your blog. Seriously. That's not, unless you want to make money out of your blog, you get people, kind of put advertisement kind of thing like that, and then you have to worry about traffic, but you don't have to worry about traffic, because what you want is that you want people, your type of people to come. And once you know which people are, that's one of the most important thing of this phrase, is that you define who people is, right? And why is this important? Right? Because now, if you know, I help developers, you know what developers are. You know which Facebook they participate, Facebook groups they are. We know which events they go. You know exactly where they are, right? But that's why you don't say developers in general. You say specific types of developers, right? So you know where they are. Or you can, if you say I help CEOs, right? You know exactly where those guys hang out, right? So you go after them or where they are, and that's how you bring people into what you already have. Because those are the people you want to be your friends, your customers. Make sense? Mm-hmm. All right. One last phrase, so we can move to step number 2. Is there anyone that wants to experiment? Go ahead.
I help my team to handle our user expectations and collect their feedback so can deliver products that evolve in the right direction.
Okay. You know, I think product evolved in the right directions a little bit, but it's okay. The one problem with your phrase is, I help my team. Who cares about your team?
I want
Right.
to get promoted, so I helping my team.
Yeah, your team is just too little, too specific.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who are your team? Is that developers? Are they job developers? Are they?
It's very diverse.
Yeah, but you know, so think about who they are,
Mm-hmm.
right? Do you work for a large company, for example?
Yeah.
In which sector?
Technology. It's a advertisement company, and we are.
Oh, it's an advertising company. So you work on the advertisements industry, right? So you can say, you know, I help managers of advertising companies to implement the right technologies so they can blah blah, something like this, right? Find who are the people that you really want. You want to be promoted. That's great, right? Who's going to promote you? Is that your team, or is that the manager of your team, or is that the director of the company, right? Who is the person that you actually want? It's not about, when you talk about this thing, it's not about companies or groups of people. It's about one person, right? So who is the person that's able to promote you, right? Or maybe who's the person in the other company that could hire you? That is the person you need to help, right? So I help directors of advertising companies, right? Or CIOs of advertising companies, or technology director of advertising companies, right? You have to be specific, because that's the person that needs help, and I help him, you know, do something that gets the project delivered in the right time. Make sense?
Yep.
Right? So you know, you want to be specific who the people you want, and your team is not very good, because your team, you know, you're not going to attract your team to you.
Yeah,
It's
but
already
if you
part
work
of you.
like as a product manager,
Mhm.
that you have to get ideas from different universes and translate those ideas into your team work,
Mhm.
and you get like a leader of those ideas.
Mhm.
You are kind of working for your team to deliver those ideas to your users.
Right.
So
Yeah, but your team is not going to promote you.
yeah.
You know, you said, I want to be promoted, right? That depends on what you want, right? So your team is not going to promote you.
Mhm.
So, you know,
Okay. Understood.
right?
Yeah.
But yes, you know, if you want to help developer teams of advertising agencies to be more productive, for example, right? You can say, you know, I help, but it's who are the person that you help. So when you help a team, who really you need to help? You need to help, you know, the manager of the team. So I help project managers of advertising companies to manage their teams in the right way, or something like this. So that's another thing. You have to.
So I should say I want to help the CTO
That's
to
could be.
perform. Yeah. Okay.
Could be. Yeah, it depends on what you want, right? I'm not sure if CTO is the right person.
Is there
Maybe the
both of my
technology
boss?
director. Oh, that's your boss, right? So yes, okay. You know, I help CTOs of companies,
Okay.
and that will get you. You know, think about it. If you do this right, it takes some work, but if you do this right, who are the people that are going to come to your blog? Who are the people that are going to watch your tweeters? There's going to be CTOs of the advertising companies,
Okay.
right? And so you're going to be among CTOs, right? You're going to be helping them getting more results from their teams. You're going to be helping them achieve, their technology needs, whatever it is that you're helping them, right? And so the chance is that one of those CTOs is going to be, hey, you know what? I've been following you and reading your blog, and my team is much better now because of the things you showed me. So do you want to work for me? You know, do you want to consult in here and come here and fix my team because I don't have the time? You know, I see what you're doing. I know that it works because I can see this working for your team, but I don't have the time to do the same thing you're doing. But I can bring you here to do this for me, right? Okay, and then you start looking around. So now you say, oh, where are the CTOs? Where do they hang out? Which LinkedIn group they participate at, right? You know, what kind of things they pay attention to, actually go on Facebook if you want to, he talk about traffic, for example, right? Go on Facebook and actually go and advertise on Facebook, and you can say, I want CTOs from, from Illinois, and you advertise just for those guys. I mean, once you know who those people are, it's a lot easier for you to get them. Make sense? All right. So that's step number 1, focus. How long do I have? What time is it?
Probably they're gonna kick us out in, what, an hour?
Yeah.
An hour? Okay, good. Yes, all right. So, okay, so step number 2. Step number 2 is community. Working with communities, it's an amazing way for you to get a career moving. And it's an amazing way for you to attract people to you. Because you got Freddie right there, right? Those guys put a lot of work to get this whole thing running, right? And Freddie, what's the hardest thing for you the thing that you need more help with? What is the hardest thing for you to do this whole thing here?
The hardest thing?
Yeah.
Having help.
No. What do you have? You need help with something. But what's the hardest thing? What's the thing that you asked everyone a few minutes ago to help you with?
Yeah, present.
Right? The hardest thing that he has. So he does all the work. He gets people in here. He has a website. He finds sponsors. He has food. I mean, he does all the work. And the hardest thing he needs is someone to come here to speak. So you got those guys, right? They really need, if there's not someone here speaking, you don't come. And all his work is for nothing. So if you have a good topic to talk about for his audience, he's interested in you coming here.
And we'll help.
Right?
We'll find pizza and a place.
Exactly. So the thing is, but you have to talk to his audience, not to your audience. So so if your audience is CIOs of companies, you don't come here. You come to another user group or another meetup, whatever the CIOs do, right? I have no idea. They'll go to a golf club, right? Or something like this. I don't know, right? But if your focus is on Java developers, like his focus is on developers, then you can come here because that's the audience that's here. So a community will usually multiply your efforts, because you're coming here. You're not coming here to say, "Oh, I'm me, I'm great, I'm wonderful," and blah blah blah. And no, you're coming here to help them, right? And the more you help them, you can get anything you want in life if you help enough people get what they want in life. So you come here as someone just helping, and because you're coming here in helping people, right? They'll be helping because they're gonna come here because they have the problem that you're talking about, and you're gonna teach them great things. They're gonna solve their problem, right? Right now, do you think this thing that we discussed so far is gonna help you in your career? Who thinks that? Okay, so the reason why you're here, it's working, right? That's why you're here. So I'm helping you somehow, right? And because I'm helping you, we are all together. We are all helping Freddie with his work, because now he's happy because it's full of people. The sponsor is happy because he brought the pizza. Everyone here is being helped because someone decided to come here and speak of something that was interesting. And that can be you, right? You get your phrase, you turn this in a good presentation. Now, I love the celebrity statement, because now you have the celebrity statement. Just have the celebrity statement. You reverse it, and you have a talk. Right? You say, I help professional developers to work on best projects, best teams. Right? So you reverse it. You say, 3 mistakes professional developers make that prevent them from working on great projects, great teams. Who wants to know if you're making the mistake or not? Right? Man, if I'm making this mistake, I'm toasted. So let me see what this guy's talking about. Right? So on the same phrase, you have content, you have focus, you have people, who are the people you want, you know where they are. I mean, this phrase gets everything together on a silver platter. and you can just go and do it. Right? And about community, it's the same thing. You know, now you can come here and participate in the community, but even more than that. You know, Freddie, working on a community has helped you.
Oh, yeah,
You know, your career is better because you build a community,
definitely.
right? Because now, think about what is a community? It's a place where people meet, right? So now that you have your phrase, and you help developers, or you help CIOs, or you help in whatever you help, you can have a community around what you do. And then you don't have the problem of finding traffic anymore. Right? Because now people want to come. They want to be part of this because they really need that. You know, if you do a research, you find out that's what they really need. And look how beautiful this thing is. Right? You know, you have a community, and then you start, because you have your phrase, you wrote one blog post or you did one presentation, and one person came. Very bad. Just one person came. So we have one person, he came to the presentation, or he came to your blog post, or he talked to you. One person. And now you have one person, you say, look, man, it's very nice meeting you here. Right? So it's all empty here, no one else, it's just me and you. So tell me, explain me a little bit more. What is the biggest problem that you're having with working on the best product, best teams? And then you're going to say, well, you know, I can't work on the best project for this, or, you know, I wish I was a better project, I wish I was paid more, whatever he says, right? He tells me something more that I didn't know, right? And so what do? I said, great, it's wonderful. So now I get this problem that you have, and I write a blog post about what you just told me. And I'm here, it's just me and you, I teach you what I know about the problem that you have, or maybe I don't know. Right? Maybe the problem that you brought me is something that I never thought about. So I go and I research about it because that's my focus. I research about it, I give you an answer, or I give my opinion, right? And I'll write a blog post about this. And then next time I do this, I'll have two people. Right? Because now I have more content, more people interested in me, I have more things that I have to say, so I have two people coming in. And then I do the same thing, I talk to them. Because I'm telling you one thing, presentations, it's not about coming here and speaking. Presentations are a two-way conversation. Right? You may think you're not having a two-way conversation because I'm in front and you're sitting down, but you're participating all the time. You know, you're telling me what I need to say, right? When you raise your hand and you say, I'm just starting, I'm a 10 years professional, my presentation is different because you're here, right? When you agree with something that I'm saying, you direct my presentation to that place. If you disagree, you direct my presentation to another place. That's why I don't have slides. Because if I have slides, it's a one-to-many conversation. It's me saying what I prepared to say, and you just having to listen. We're having a conversation here, we can adjust things because I don't need to follow a script. And so once you do this, once you actually have a two-way conversation, people come to you because they're interested in talking to you because they have problems. Everyone has problems, right? So if you're helping them solve their problems, they want to talk to you. They don't want you to come here to lecture them on something. They want to talk to you. They want to discuss with you their problems. And then you get another person, and then another person, and then another person, and then suddenly you have a community of people trying to solve that problem together. So you can build communities to help people even more. Because I'll tell you three things that communities do. Right? Once you're working with communities, there's three things that communities do for you. That's scientific. It's not something that people think about. That's scientific. You know, once you participate in community, once you participate on a network, you have a strong network, you get better evaluated by your peers. So people consider you a better professional, right? You get called to work on more interesting projects, either inside your company or by other companies, whatever. People, you know, you have opportunities to work on better projects. And you earn more. Right? So people that participate in communities get that. Why do they get that? It's magic? Oh, it's just because I joined a community that's like I'm automatically get that? No. Right? Because there's three things that communities give you. The first thing that communities give you is access to private information. You know, if you come here, for example, and how many of you here are following or heard about, you know, the Java EE moving to Jakarta EE? Right? Lots of you heard about. When did you hear about it? The last 3 months, 6 months since Java 1? Right? We've been discussing this for much earlier than that. For last year, that discussion has been going on. So a lot of Java group leaders, a lot of Java champions, a lot of people were participating in that discussion. So people that were part of these communities had that information beforehand. And that's true for, you know, you're now, every time you come here, you hear things, you know, you hear job posts that no one's talking about, you hear about new technology that no one knows about, you hear about projects that no one knows about, you know, you hear things that's not public knowledge. And you just have that information because you're inside the community. The second thing that communities give you is that it gives you access to a diverse set of skills. Right? Who here knows Java? Who here knows Kotlin? Who here knows Ruby? Who here knows Go? Who here knows Docker? Who here knows Spring? Right? You see? Just these few things here, very few people raise their hand for everything. You don't need to know everything. You don't. All you need to know is who knows. Because if you know that this guy knows Docker, and you have a problem with Docker, you come here and tell him, hey, I'm having a problem with Docker. Can you help me out? And so communities give you this, give you access to all this amazing skill. So you say, oh, do I need to learn everything? No, you don't. You just need to be very good at something, because now you're bringing this something to the community. And then you now, because you're part of it, because you're bringing things in, everyone else will want to help you too, because you are helping them. Right? So, you know, if you're a great person, on, you know, because you're a generalist and you can solve problems in a good way, and you are here, you're helping people solve problems. When you have something about Docker, he will help you. So you don't need to know everything. You just need to be part of the community. That's the second thing that communities give you. And the third thing communities give you, it gives you power and influence. Who wants power? No one wants power, right? Yes, you do. Right? You know, if Kyle is here and he needs someone to work here, and then he says, you know, let's say Kyle needs someone for Docker. Do you need someone for Docker?
We work in all languages, so absolutely.
Yeah, so you need Docker, right? So Kyle needs Docker, right? So he comes to, you know, he comes to Freddie and says, Freddie, do you know anyone from your community that's a very good guy in Docker? Oh yeah, you know, the guy sitting on the first row, he's very good at Docker. Isn't that an amazing power and influence that he has? Because now, Kyle is not going to go and put a job post somewhere or going to try to find it. He's going to come directly to him and say, look, we have a project with Docker. Do you want to work with us? Right? And so that's what the community gives you. So if you want to grow in your career, build communities. Not only come here, sit down and listen. Build communities. I don't know how to do that. So, you know, I come here and we are all nerds. I don't know how to talk to the guy on my side. How can I help with anything? Right? You know, we are here on Monday nights, right? Like 10 o'clock at night. We're here hearing a guy talk about career. Are we all nerds? Yes, we are. There's no doubt about this, right? So, yes, it's hard for everyone. I know it's hard for me. Very hard for me. You know, Fred starts saying that, you know, I'm known as the guy of the flag. And why do I walk around with a Brazilian flag in my back? Because if you have a Brazilian flag in your back, you don't need to talk with people. People come and talk to you. Right? So it's a lot easier for you to actually meet people and do, because you don't have to say hello. People come and say hello to you. Right? Because they say, what is this? Why do you have a Brazilian flag in your back? It's weird enough that people are going to say something. And that's when, so yes, I'm not only a nerd, I'm very introverted. Very hard for me to say hello. Right? So I have to trick myself. Right? It's hard. So it's hard for all of us. So you don't know how to do this. Well, you don't need to know. You come 5 minutes earlier than everyone else. And when you get here 5 minutes earlier than everyone else, you're going to see only Freddie here and maybe Maria, right? Putting things together and trying to, find if there's enough chair for everyone. And then you can just say, I'm here 5 minutes early. Can I help with something? Oh yes, bring that chairs over there, right? And then you do this. When the whole thing finished, everyone's going to leave, and you can be here. That's something with the camera. I can stop for a minute. Is it okay? Because the recording is important. I can stop if there's a problem. Okay. Good? Okay. So, so you stay, everyone leaves in the end, and you don't leave. You stay 5 more minutes. And so while Freddie is kind of putting the chairs on top of the other, you stay there. And you talk, hey Freddie, is there anything I can do here to help you out? Right? That's how you help.
We love volunteers.
Right. Because it's needed. You see, the community is extremely valuable for all of you, for all of us. If it doesn't exist, everyone here loses. And it's hard, right? And so you can be a little bit more than everyone else. You can just come here and help. And the next time you maybe say, Freddie, look, I'm not a good speaker. All I want is to come in front and say and give 3 tips on my phrase. Now he knows about the phrase, so you say, no, it's this, I just did my celebrity statement. Next time I just want to come here, and in 3 minutes I'm going to take 3 tips on my statement. And he's going to say, that's great. Between speakers, or before the speaker starts, or before he ends, or during where people are eating pizza. We find a moment that you can come in, you can talk 3 minutes. And then you come here, you talk 3 minutes. And then you're shaking, right? You're shaking, you're sweating, you don't have enough courage, but you do it. It's just 3 minutes. And when you finish, you find out, oh, that was not so bad. Right? I didn't die. People say that present in front of an audience, it's a fear that's larger than death. Right? Because more people said that they're afraid of speaking than they're afraid of dying. Right? It's probably because people don't think too much about dying, right? But they think about speaking in front of an audience, right? But
and dying is passive. Dying is passive.
Yes, right. So it's not like if you ask, do you prefer to die or give a speech? So you're gonna find out that actually the fear of dying is worse, right? But anyway, once you come here and you say something, you don't die. That's good, right? So now you're like, okay, so I can do this without dying. So now I'm not so afraid, right? And then what happens is that you go to the third step. The third step of that will completely supercharge your career, right? And we're talking about this all the time, so it's going to be a very short step because it's the underlying of everything we're talking here so far, right? It's sharing. Or let's be very specific, is speaking. If there's one thing that can completely supercharge your career, this is speaking. It could be speaking on Twitter, it could be speaking on a blog post, it could be speaking on an article, it could be speaking on LinkedIn. It doesn't need to be speaking itself, right? But it's sharing information, sharing what you know, sharing what you do with others. Why is speaking so important? I recorded a video saying exactly this week, right? Because the thing is, you may think that you're thinking. Like, oh, I'm thinking about something, right? I want to be a better developer, so I'm thinking about how to solve that problem. And you may think that you're thinking. But the truth is, you are only thinking when you're speaking. Why? Because when you're thinking in your head, your brain, it's biologically wired to sabotage you. Right, your brain's biologically wired not to sabotage you, but to prevent change. So in your brain, whether you know it or not, you keep, you have prejudices, you have, you have doubts, you have fears, you have, you have preconceptions. So when you think by yourself, all of those things are very hard to separate. You need to be a philosopher, really. You need to be a philosopher to be able to separate those things, and most of us are not, right? So basically, you thinking by yourself, you're not thinking, right? But then you come in front of an audience, and the audience can be one person sitting in front of you. It doesn't need to be like a public with 100 people. No, it can be one person sitting in the bar with you, and then for that one person, you say, "Let me tell you what I think," and you explain what you think. And now that you have to explain to someone, you have to get all those crazy things that you have, and you have to put in a concise, logical thought. And you have to organize that. And so once you do this to that person, he's going to say, like, what did you say? Like he said, right? He said the phrase, I help people I help people succeed so they can be successful. Like, what? Right? That doesn't make sense. No, it doesn't make sense. So he's going to say, Bruno, that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, well, no, it does, because what I mean is in what the conversation we had here. What I mean by success is this. What I mean by having success is this. Oh, so what you're saying is this. Okay, so now we're thinking together. So now, because you're speaking, you're changing what you're thinking, and that is what's going to make you a great developer. So go speak, right? What is a talk? It's a two-way conversation. You come here, you talk with people, you look them in the eye, right? So you go to a bar, you sit down with someone, and you do the conversation. That's speaking. You sit down in a project and you do that. Make sense? So 3 steps. Find your focus, and I think we did an exercise here to find your focus. Participate in communities. Build your own. Participate with others. And speak. Right? Speak to text, to voice, to video, to whatever. Right? Speak with people. How long do I have now? So I can finish this.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, cool. So I just want to get this last 10 minutes to say, what else that you want to that I didn't talk here that's important for you guys. Question.
Wondering about mentoring.
Mentoring. What about mentoring?
Like we see everything with our own blinders.
Mm-hmm.
But what about talking with either competitive people or non-competitive people who may not be, that may see something about what you're doing?
Right. That's
From a fresh view.
Yeah, that's okay. So, but I'm saying you wanna what exactly about mentoring that you want to know?
Well, I was just wondering if that was part of helping a career.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Mentoring.
Yes. So if you go mentor someone, that's a great way. Yeah.
To be mentored.
If you go mentor someone, it's a great way for you to put your thoughts together and help other person. So so you can mentor someone that knows less than you do. So that's a great way of doing it. And why it's mentoring someone a great way to do it? Because it's great for you because you learn a lot by doing it. But it's also great for the person because mentoring is one of the best ways that people can learn. Right? Having a mentor, someone that will actually do things with you, that will help you go through the problems, it's an amazing way for you to learn. Amazing. Right? Because it really helps you, it really solves a lot of problems. When you have someone that already knows the topic and he knows the problems that you're going through, he understands things that you don't understand, that you, okay, I'll be there. There's one guy like that who'll be there in a minute. That person understands things, and he can help you break through problems. Because one of the biggest things that we have, be it a career, be it a technical thing, whatever it is that the way we think, right? We have limitations on the way we think, right? And so a mentor can be the person that looks at what you're doing and see, look, you have a limitation in your thinking. And so if you think different, the whole thing is going to be different, right? So a mentor is a great thing to do. So I'll take a ride in your question, because I'm going to tell you one thing here. What is this? Oh, the raffle.
It's a raffle, yeah.
So let me tell you this here. That's why everyone is here, right? It's not because of me. I'm gonna give you guys a gift, right? I want to give you guys a gift. I do, when I do those trips, I do career conversations. Some of you guys have gone through me with career conversations, but I've offered this in the past year, and some of you did not take this, so don't miss this opportunity now. And so if you go right now, and I suggest you go right now, it's jav.mn/US 2018. Okay, can you test if that works?
Yep.
I think that's it. jav.mn/US 2000. jav.mn/US 2000. No, together, everything together. US 2018 together.
Okay, so
Yeah, mn/US 2018.
Yep.
Right? Yes, it's going there, I think. Yes. Yes, okay. So yes. So jav.mn/US 2018. You go there, you're gonna get you a form, right? This one right there. Yeah, you can stop there. Right? You're gonna get you a form, and I'm gonna ask you some questions so I can help you in your career, right? And then once you answer the questions, you're gonna get to my calendar, and you can schedule a 45 minutes conversation with me, right? Was it good?
It was very good.
Right? So it's gonna be a 45 minutes conversation with me. That on that conversation, I'm going to do three things with you. I will help you have clarity on your goals. I will help you eliminate the biggest problem that prevents you from growing your career, and together we're going to make a plan for you to achieve those goals. Okay? So do it right now, because there's not a lot of slots, and so the sooner you schedule, the better. Okay, I would suggest that you don't leave the building without scheduling a conversation, right? And then once you do this, it's going to be my calendar, it's going to be in your calendar, and we're going to sit down together to do. And the reason why I do this is because yes, I do mentoring for a career, right? So I'm going to do a conversation with you. I'll mentor you in your career on that conversation. Make sense? All right. So the question over the back.
I think you actually just answered it. I was going to ask about being mentored and how that also sort of forces you to speak.
Yes.
You have to engage with your mentor and have a conversation. Like, does that also help you, in a similar way as being a mentor?
Yes, if you have a conversation with someone about your problems, it helps you a lot, because it helps you clarify, right? The one thing that I see a lot of this career conversations that people come to me and by voicing your problems, it makes it a lot easier for you to solve them, right? So yes, when every time you speak, every time you try to convey information to someone else, you have to get your thoughts together. That's when you actually think. We think that we think when we're thinking. We're not, right? We only think when we're speaking. Okay, so that's a good thing to do. And if you want to improve your life in general, right? One great thing for you to do, even if you're afraid of talking in front of people, is sit down and write. That's why one of the most common trends of successful people is having a diary. Because once you put your thoughts on paper, you go through the same process, even if no one reads it. Okay? Question here.
So it sounds like you're using some of the language that it reminds me of the 7 Habits. Are you familiar with 7 Habits?
It could be. There's a lot of things that one of the things that I help people with is creating new habits. I don't think I read the book, The 7 Habits, but I've been.
Because the last two, the steps you're talking about, that encompasses the top 2 habits, there's an analytical and then synthetic.
Okay.
And those are kind of encompassed by a couple of your.
Yeah, it could be.
Talking about the steps there as well. So.
Yeah, it could be. One of the most important things that you need to know as a developer is to create habits. Right? So you need to be good at this, right? It's all about your brain. Let me tell you one thing. If there's one thing that you need to know being a developer, right, is your brain. You have to understand your brain very well. So creating habits is understanding how the brain works. Because we use, our brains, there's a lot of study in the last 10 years, a lot of things that we thought we knew about the brains has changed it. Right, so you have to go after the newest research, right? Even habits, the research around habits has changed it, recently in the last 10 years. So go after those things because the thing is, the most important thing that we have is our brains for what we do, right? And so we need to understand how our brains work. So yeah, so a lot of things that I'm saying here might have a relationship with the 7 habits because of that.
We get room for more questions.
Okay, there's a question in the back there, and then I'll be here. People that want to ask the question later. Okay, so let me just do this. You ask your question, you ask your question, you ask your question, then I will answer. Go ahead.
So, you've been a software developer for a long time.
Yes.
What has changed about your process?
What has changed about my process? Okay, go ahead.
The question is, if one is in a leadership role and one's team is growing, company is growing, how does one know what are the best practices for delegating tasks and roles?
Okay, delegate things. Go ahead.
And I really love my job and I like software development, but I've been working like 50, 60 hours a week, and I feel like I should be doing more stuff outside. Like, I'd like to be an open source project, but I just haven't had the time.
Right.
And I have some regrets about that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll quickly answer those 3 things, okay? But let me tell you one thing. How many of you guys here have, work on a project, you work long hours, you get late at home, you work on projects that's never get in production, right? You work on things that are very stressful, and you're a lot of times you're not happy with what you do, and a lot of times you think it's pointless what you do. How many of you have gone through this process? Right? Everyone, right? Almost everyone. A few lucky ones not. So one of the things that I hear a lot is like, I just want to do a little rant here. Recently we have a lot of discussion about, there's not enough women as developers, and we need to do more women as developers. And my question is, with this kind of environment, right, with stressful, long hours, you do this, you spend weekends, and the project doesn't even go to production, like totally pointless waste of time, right? My question is, why are the guys doing this, right? It's not surprising to me that the women don't want to do this, right? Because the women are smart enough to not want to do pointless things, right? The question is, why do the men want to do those kind of things, right? And so I'm just going to get his question and answering what you guys were talking before, the process. What has changed for me in this whole life is that I've been learning how to find what's important, right? Because we get very easily distracted and into I want to solve this little problem that is not important, right? I want to solve the technology thing. I want to learn more things. I want to do this. I want to implement this crazy thing that no one's ever going to use, right? I've been on my career, especially in the last maybe 5 or 10 years, I've been trying to get out of these pointless things, right? I don't want to work on pointless projects anymore, right? And the thing that I've been learning is that it's totally possible. It's totally possible. The reason why I went on this, coming to this, these tours and talk about career and all of that, is because I want all of you, right, men and women and everyone, I want you to work on the best projects, because there are great projects out there. There are amazing things that you can do. There are amazing things that actually change people's lives. There are amazing things that you can that has a reason for you to do. And I'm tired. I got tired of this, right? I got tired of working. I had this project that I joined this project some years ago. That it was the very interesting project. The company was a startup. They had lots of financing. and they want to change the e-commerce world, and they have all this just amazing ideas, and they wanted to use open source projects. They want to contribute back to the community. They're like, oh, amazing things. It was the worst project of my life. Extremely stressful, right? A lot of disrespect. A lot of pointless things. Right? Nothing made sense. There's no reason why we're doing what we're doing. I would get home, I would lay down on my wife's lap, I was crying. In the morning, I would tell her, I don't want to go. And she was like, you got to go, right? She would push me out of the house because I did not want to go. When we finished that project, I promised myself, I'm never going to work on a project like this again, right? I understand stress. I've worked in my career, as I already told you guys this, I've worked in my career on very stressful projects, right? But I don't want to work on pointless projects anymore. And none of us need to work on pointless projects, right? The reason why I'm talking about careers, the reason why I want you all to learn how to grow your careers, because I want you to work on amazing projects. Because amazing projects make sense. We have a reason why we're doing this, right? And you can. So what changed in my process is that I now work on projects that I'm interested in, right? And about delegation, I think about responsibility, right? And it's not about delegating things. I want to be responsible for what I'm doing, and yes, I want the other people that are working with me to be responsible for what they're doing too. And once people take responsibility for what they're doing, the project can go, right? And a lot of times, if someone is not taking responsibility, you have to take that responsibility yourself and do it. And that's okay sometimes. And sometimes you get someone that's sick, who's had a problem with the family, he's not being productive that week. That's okay, right? But everyone has to take responsibility. And for everyone to take responsibility, they have to see the meaning of it, right? No one takes responsibility for something that's meaningless, something that's just a waste of time. So what I want for you, and that's why I'm offering you guys this free consultation, because I want you to work with the best project that you can, right? And once you do that, that's going to grow you to even more interesting projects. I really want you to have the most fantastic developer career. Okay, so with that, I'll be here a little longer to answer questions if anyone else has, but I'd like to thank you everyone. Thank everyone for coming. Thank you.